Just want to generally ask you, with this CBA, for the person that might not know, what is it that you guys are just generally fighting for? What are you not getting that you want?
Sure. Well, our collective bargaining agreement expired January 15th, right? As our second collective bargaining agreement in our history. First one, obviously, starting in 2014. So we've moved on to our third CBA now. And really the two big sticking points for membership are compensation, wages, benefits, and then some quality of life issues, mainly travel, flights, things like that.
So when you talk about the compensation, is this, for people that don't know, like, are referees, is this your full-time job? Do you have a day job and this is just a part-time thing? Like, how does that dynamic work?
Sure, good question. So the full-time referees, we're all full-time, the referees. There's two classifications, probationary, non-probationary. It just means the first couple years in the league, you're probationary, and then you graduate essentially to non-probationary. And then our assistant referees, a lot of them do have full-time jobs during the week, as well as our video assistant referees and the video assistant referees. So those three groups mainly still carry Monday through Friday day jobs. So it's pretty grueling on the group, especially those that have to work Monday through Friday, right, and then still prepare for a game physically, mentally, and then hit the road, go straight from work Friday afternoon to the airport for a game Saturday, fly home Sunday, spend maybe half a day with their family, and then rinse and repeat, right, on a week-in and week-out basis. And we have one of the longest seasons of any professional sport in America. Our mandatory training period starts the first week of January. And for some of our guys who work deep in the playoffs, that season runs all the way through the second Saturday in December. So it really is a really long season. It's grueling physically, mentally. I go back to the earlier comment, the referees are full-time, but it's, our schedule. We have the same things that they have as far as preparing for games. Our physical training is 6 days a week. We have training camps throughout the year, which adds another element of travel. So as the league has grown over the last few years, when we went through this process in 2014 and we were locked out, there were 8 games a weekend. Now we see 14 a weekend. So obviously the growth of the league is there, and which has caused our demands to increase. We're spending more nights on the road, more nights away from family. And it takes a toll after a while. And we just want to be compensated fairly. We want to have the quality of life things that we need to be able to go out and perform with high-performing athletes on a weekly basis.
Can you break down, because I know, when the league announced the lockout, the big thing that they harped on was the percentage. Can you kind of walk through, how that might be misrepresented in terms of, they're saying that it's this unprecedented, increase, but a percentage increase on top of something that's not very big is still not very big.
Sure, right. And I think you said it there, right? It's easy to talk about percentages when the original number is a small number, right? So percentages are going to look big, but 100% of a dollar is a dollar, right? So we have some assistant referees and video assistant referees and our assistant video assistant referees who make barely a few $1,000s a year in salary, and then they get game fees as well. So it's obviously not a livable wage for them. And then the referees as well, we're looking for fair compensation for how our demands have increased. Right? So it's easy to talk about percentages when the starting numbers are already pretty low. Right? So it's easy to get wrapped up in that. But if you don't understand the numbers, it can be easy to go down that path and say, well, 25%, why are you turning down 25%? Well, there's a reason that 25% is not going to cut it for us. You
mentioned earlier kind of the daily grind that you guys go. Can you walk me through a match week for you?
Sure. Let's just assume Saturday match day, right? So I guess we'll go backward from there. So Friday's a match prep day. We usually do our match prep in the morning, and then we head off to the airport. Most of the guys, I think, head out usually midday, depending on how far you're going. I live in St. Petersburg, Florida, so if I'm going to LA for a game, chances are I'm actually on a morning flight, so I can get out there early and get settled in. I don't want to take an evening flight, land at 11 o'clock p.m., which is 2 a.m. my time, for a game the next night. So our travel is a little dictated by how far you're going and where the game's at, but that's Friday. Game prep and physical game prep, and then travel. You back up through the week. Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday are all physical training days. Various things, whether it's high intensity training, interval work, endurance runs, acceleration work, or time in the gym, or a mix of all those things. And then through those days as well, we're planning for the game as far as knowing the teams, the players, how the teams performed the week before, if they've already matched up that year, and how that game went. So we're doing our film study and preparing for the game in that way across a couple of those days. And we have staff at Pro that help facilitate that as well. And then that takes me back to Sunday, which is typically a recovery day from the Saturday match a week prior. So, the a week goes by quick, right? And then when you throw in, throughout the year, when you throw in the Wednesday games, right, the midweek games, it taxes us even more. And then we have a very big chunk of our officials who represent the country on the FIFA international panel, right? And we do really have one of the best groups of officials in the world. When you look at how well we were represented in the Men's World Cup final in Qatar in 22, and then fast forward to 23, the Women's World Cup final in Australia was refereed by 3 Americans, all part of Pro. And then we also had some video representation on that crew as well. First time an American trio has ever refereed a Senior World Cup final. So we really do have some of the best officials in the world, and we just want to be compensated fairly and have the things that we need to perform at a high level.
How does that schedule differ from the part-time assistant referees?
Sure, I mean, it doesn't differ a whole lot. They still have to do the same preparation physically, the same preparation mentally. They have to prepare for a game the same way we do, but they also have to do all that while under, most of them, a 40-hour-a-week job. So it's certainly not easy by any stretch.
From your end, what is the response been to you from players, fans, coaches, and all those people out there?
Yeah, I mean, I think the response has been great. You've seen on all the social platforms the last few days, a lot of support and solidarity from various organizations, players doing interviews with some media. The Players Association released their statement. And at the end of the day, we just want the players to be safe. We want them to be safe so they can go out on the field and showcase their craft and their skill set and be able to do that in a safe environment. And we have relationships that we've built with the players over all of our years in the league. This will be my 16th season in Major League Soccer as one of the more senior guys in the group. And over the course of that career, I've built relationships with a lot of the players. And I think a lot of the players know they're in good hands when they see the full-time professional referees walk out on the field.
Did you watch the Inter-Miami game? This would have been last night.
Last night.
Yeah, so did you watch that match?
Sure. I mean,
thoughts on how that went and just from looking at, from your expert perspective, outside looking in?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great game to watch. It was a great way to start the season. Obviously, we would have rather had the full-time referees on the field and not been watching replacements. But the players showcased their skills. Miami obviously won the game, but it's a long season. It's one game out of almost 500 regular season games, and the full-time referees. We'd rather be on the grass, in a stadium as opposed to on the grass on the side of a street, walking up and down the street holding signs, right? So, we watched the game because we live for this game. We love this game. We've dedicated most of our lives to this game. So, just because we're locked out by professional referee organization in Major League Soccer doesn't mean we just turn the TV off, right? It's too hard for us to do. Mm-hmm. So we still want to watch the games, and at the same time, we want to be back out on the field. So
before that game, Taylor Twellman talked to the commissioner. Reaction to that?
I'll respond to that as a member of the union's negotiating committee. If the commissioner doesn't know what we want, he's welcome to come join us at the bargaining table at any time. We'd actually welcome him or any member of the executive staff of Major League Soccer to come to the table. And through the course of bargaining that started back in October, at no point have we seen the commissioner or any member of the executive team join us at the table. They're welcome to join us at any time, and I think Commissioner Garber would have a better idea of what's going on and what we're asking for if he just sits across the table and listens.
Just kind of walk through, from your perspective, what you guys are asking for, looking for, what you're not getting, and everything like that.
Yeah, this is my second CBA since I've been a full-time referee. I was in the process in 2014, though not hired, nowhere near hired at that point. So I got to watch it from the outside, looking in. This is my first time really being involved in the lockout part of this. And we are, we're fighting for fair compensation, and we're fighting for quality of life improvements that we haven't seen. And with the exponential growth of the league, we feel that is something that's been sorely lacking. So
you mentioned, the last time that this happened, you weren't necessarily in the door yet.
Yeah.
How has your perspective changed? From the last time you're outside looking in, and now you're ingratiated in this time.
It's different in that I'm inside, so I have more knowledge, more information. It's not different in that last time I was national referee at that point, so I was in the pool of replacement officials that they would potentially call, and I knew a few people in pro in the union in PSRA at that point, and had discussions with them, and at no point would it ever have crossed my mind to cross the line, because it's a solidarity thing, right? We're a group of people who have to have each other's backs, and we train our entire lives for this, and it's a passion thing, and all the work that PSRA does as a union really does trickle down to the grassroots in terms of trying to improve working conditions and respect for sports officials. So I think that irrespective of the level you work at, the PSRA's goal is valuable.
And so, I mean, and we talked about, these union, everyone that's in solidarity and referees that have, crossed the picket line alike. You're all in the same community, so you all know each other. Like, how does that, dynamic work out amongst you guys?
It's difficult. I have a few friends who are people who are in the replacement referee pool. It doesn't make them bad people, right? These are good people. These are good people. They're good referees, and we wish them the best when they step on the field. 100%, we really do. At the same time, we are the people who have devoted our lives and given up chances at other careers as well to put everything we have into this. And there's a right way to go about it. I mean, many of us, you kind of languished in no man's land for a long time, driving 3 or 4 hours to work for $50, which doesn't cover gas money, and do all that kind of thing, and not skip the line. And you have to trust that quality will shine through, and you put in your dues, and everyone has a different path to get there. But when you get there, you want to be there with your brothers and sisters who have worked just as hard as you have to make it to where they've made it.
You slightly touched on it, and it was a message that I kind of saw on social media from the union, and you're probably the perfect person to address this, but just the entire idea of, yes, these replacement referees have crossed the picket line, but they don't deserve abuse from fans or anything like that.
Never.
And so, just talk about that whole dynamic of, because I mean that could be a potential thing. That they mentioned the security of these people, and so I mean, just the referee abuse is not.
First of all, we're really pleased that MLS are talking about the security concerns for officials. It's interesting that it's taken them to this point to start talking about it, especially after some of the things that happened at the end of last year. But we're all for it, and we welcome all of the additional new security concerns. We are also very thankful for the passionate fans. We've seen plenty of comments on Twitter and different social media sites about fans who will be boycotting games until the referees are back, the full-time referees. And we really appreciate that, but in no way would we ever wish any sort of ill will upon the replacement officials. They don't deserve it. No officials at any level deserve it, and we see way too much abuse in general as it is. So yeah.
Are there ever times where you have a Wednesday match and then you have to work a Saturday match, and how does that schedule work out?
Yeah, that can be challenging, and sometimes, as Chris mentioned, we do have a large panel of international referees as well, and a lot of those games occur on midweeks, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And you could have that midweek bookended with MLS matches on a weekend. And sometimes we'll have MLS match Saturday, MLS match Wednesday, MLS match Saturday. And the company will do their best to try to decrease some of our load, but sometimes they can't due to people missing or some other reason. And you could have 3 games in a week. In whatever position, assistant referee, it doesn't matter. And again, Chris touched on this a little bit, but our weeks are full as it is from travel and matches and physical preparation and game preparation in terms of preparing for the game we're going to see next. That starts as soon as our previous self-analysis of the previous game has ended. So yeah, we do a lot of post-game analysis. I know I can only speak for myself, but I watch the whole game back through. I think all of our guys do that and take copious notes. And then, we work to put that thought process into practice for the next week coming up. And that process starts as soon as we're done evaluating our previous game. And we're looking at player tactics and current form of teams and what kind of rosters they're going to be using in formations. All the same kind of video analysis that the teams do on a weekly basis, we're also doing.
So you have multiple matches, potentially multiple matches in a week. Probably the longest, easily the longest season of any professional sport in the United States. What kind of physical toll that can take? And, players that play 3-4 matches, like sometimes they'll get benched for the first half, but you guys have to run around the whole game.
Yeah, we never.
Every time you don't get a rest.
We don't get to call a substitute in when we get tired.
So talk about the physical toll that it takes across the year.
The joke at my house, I say joke, but joke comes with a lot of truth here. Is when I talk to my wife and I say, don't worry, in the off season we'll be, whatever, we'll be planning a trip or something, and she says, what off season? That's the joke around the house in most of our households, because if you work the whole season, you have a few weeks until we are mandated to start training again. And look, I wouldn't have it any other way. We live for this. There are times, and every job can be hard. There's days when you wake up and don't want to do the work, but then I'll get out to the field and start my physical training, and I'll think how lucky I am to do this. But yeah, it can really take a toll on our families. And as you mentioned with player, as a difference to how the players have it, we don't have home games. I'm lucky to have an MLS team close by, but I don't see them very frequently, and I'm generally on the road, and I might have a home game once every 2 years. So that kind of schedule really kind of wears you down, and we'll see, overuse injuries and, even like body type changes throughout the season, weight fluctuations, and it can be very challenging to keep yourself at the level needed to perform the same way that the players are doing. And we also don't have access to the same kind of physical therapy that they might have, and doctors on staff and all that kind of stuff. So it is a challenge.
How much of the calendar year would you say that you were spending traveling to all these international matches, MLS matches, and everything?
Yeah, I think it's approximately 240 days. It's 200 to 240 days. It's a vast majority of the season. And that can be away for weeks at a time sometimes. And as we said, it could be 2 to 3 weeks in the off season where we don't have anything else to do, where we can take a vacation and not miss work. And in a lot of other jobs, this is something I think about a lot as well. And when you talk to a lot of partners, in a lot of other jobs, you take your paid vacation and you just go do it whenever you want. It's challenging to do that in our job. You do have to find a good work-life balance, but at the same time, we live to be on that field. And the same way you won't see a player go, hey, listen, I'm going to take my family for 3 weeks and go to Hawaii. We can't really do that either, because we want to be here for all the big games. We always want to be on the field. It's what we live for. From your perspective, what is your reaction to what the commissioner said? Yeah, Chris has already addressed the second half of it, so I think I'll take a moment to address the first half. The fact that there's been some rhetoric that there was a deal agreed to and then the membership voted it down, to me seems disingenuous. There comes a point in any negotiation where the negotiators have done all they can. If the other side says, listen, there's no money left on the table, we have nothing else to give you, even if our negotiating committee were to say to the league that the members would vote it down, it's up to them to believe us or not. And clearly, based on the fact that we voted on it, they didn't believe us. There's a time and a place where our voices need to be heard, and I think we showed that with a resounding 96% no. So that should tell the commissioner what he needs to know of how united we are as such a strong no against that deal.